Hey everybody, welcome back to Pet Nation. This is our second episode, and we are going to talk about what to expect when you expect to adopt. I think that's how Katy phrased it. Katy Hansen's back with us from Animal Care Centers of New York City. One of these days, I'm not going to have to look down to read that. Animal Care Centers of New York City. You are the city's shelter system, for lack of a better word.
We sure are. We are the only shelter in New York City that takes in every single animal, regardless of age, breed, medical condition, species. I mean, we've taken goats and cows, but mainly we deal.
It's amazing. We
I
have
know,
to get
right?
into that one of these days. It won't be today.
Yeah. Mostly it's dogs and cats and rabbits and guinea pigs. Those are the adoptable animals.
No kidding. I didn't even know you had like
Guinea pigs and rabbits.
guinea pigs and rabbits.
Yeah, they're great apartment pets.
I want to do a segment. We're getting away. We love pets so much.
know,
All right, we're just
I know.
pinballing. I want to do exotic pets, and I don't know if guinea pigs and rabbits count as exotic pets, but I want to talk about,
Yes.
little off the wall pets. So we're saving that for another episode.
Okay.
So we're getting back to, all right, I want to go and get a cat. I want to get a dog. I want to have somebody to care about in my apartment, and all the wonderful things that pet ownership brings. It's not just walking in and say, hi, I'll take that one. See ya. It's a little more complicated than that.
Yeah.
So first of all,
exactly.
you guys, we'll put up your graphic at some point with your information and where people
Thank
can
you.
find you guys. But there's all kinds of shelters, correct? I mean,
Yep.
if you live in New Jersey, there's a shelter somewhere in your county, possibly your city.
There's shelters. There's also rescue groups that are
Rescue groups.
foster based. So we're a brick and mortar shelter, but there's also a lot of rescue groups.
That aren't brick and mortar.
Exactly, that are foster based, and they pull animals from us. So indirectly, we're sort of the first stop on the journey of a rescue pet.
So I guess it
in New
makes
York.
sense to go somewhere close proximity to you, because you might have to go a few times to find the perfect pet. I did for my second dog. I was ready to give up. It just wasn't the right fit. And then the
Yeah.
last time I went, I said, if I don't find the right dog this time, I think I might take a little break. And I found
That's
Stella.
when it happens.
That's one of
But
them.
we have the most. I mean, because we're brick and mortar.
Yes.
But that's why we also have our own app.
And you guys have great. Oh, we'll talk about that. You guys have a place
We have full
uptown in
service.
Harlem, correct?
Yep, full service in East Harlem.
We did a story there. Yep.
Queens.
Flushing,
We
is it?
just opened Queens and Ridgewood
Ridgewood.
on
Queens.
Flushing Avenue.
That's where my mom and dad were from.
Flushing Avenue. We have a shelter in Staten Island,
Okay, good.
and next year we'll be opening a shelter in the Bronx. It'll be the first full service shelter that the Bronx has ever had.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So we're really excited about that. And then we're renovating the Brooklyn shelter. So eventually one in each borough.
Well, if it's one of your shelters or another North Shore
Or a
Animal
rescue
League on
group.
Long Island or an animal rescue group
Or the ASPCA.
or the ASPCA, I got it at the local my
Yep.
Stella at the local
Okay.
ASPCA. You walk in there, you're not just going to say, "Oh, I'll take that one," and walk out. What's going to happen?
So we really recommend that you look at all the animals that we have or that any rescue group has. Read about them. There's usually a lot of pictures, there's bios. And let's face it, it's kind of like when you're trying to do online dating. You do fall in love with the photo. I mean, as much as you want to say, like,
So true.
oh, no, it's just personality. Come on, let's be real. So sometimes you see a photo and they really speak to you. And also, we have so many people on social media that are sharing, all our volunteers. They share
I love
videos.
that they put like the picture up and loves to cuddle.
Right, exactly.
Not
Loves
good at
belly rubs.
doesn't know how to fetch a ball. Like you really get a feeling of
You totally
it's
do.
like an online dating site.
It is.
And not to cut you off, but I'm cutting you off. I fell in love with a picture that brought me to my first animal shelter. And you know what? The dog wasn't such a good fit. Beautiful animal. I'm sure a wonderful dog, but a little high strung and jumping. And it was just like for my younger daughter, like
Yeah.
it was definitely too much dog.
Yeah.
So the process went on.
Well, exactly. And that's why when you come in, you don't just go in and then just look around and be like, I'll take that one. You come in and you sit down with an adoption counselor and you go over what you're looking for. Like I've got kids, but they're teenagers. So a lot of times we have dogs that we don't think are appropriate for really young kids. And so that's just like, that's one thing to consider. Or I have young kids visiting, or I'm alone. What are dogs that would be suitable for me? And our adoption counselors pretty much know every single animal there. So that's where we make the match. And that's why you never know what you're going to get. But there's also definitely times when people come in and say, look, I saw Gizmo on the app. That's who I want to meet. they fell in love with this video, you meet, and then
The rest is history.
Exactly. But that's where they talk to the adoption counselors about cost and about what's your lifestyle and do you work from home and, things like that. So we try our best to make sure that animals don't get returned. However, if you do need to return an animal because it doesn't work, that's not a failure. That just means it didn't work. And it's okay because you've also given that pet time outside the shelter
That's
to
a wonderful way to put it.
decompress. Yeah, we call it a trial
So
adoption.
you guys don't shame people when they do that?
Absolutely not.
That's good.
Because, they're getting out of the shelter. They're resting. Can you imagine trying to sleep and you're surrounded by 150 barking dogs? Sometimes when people bring their pet home, they'll call up and they'll say, hey, Gizmo's been sleeping for about 10 hours. Like, oh, no, that's normal.
Yes.
So
true.
yeah.
Sometimes I will board my dog if I go on vacation. Comes back like, he has clinical exhaustion, because just didn't really relax. Right, exactly. And it's like sleep for 2 days practically. I know exactly what you're talking about. Costs, is it truly free? I mean, there are things like, right, don't they have to have
No, it's not.
It's not free.
Sometimes we do promotions
They have to be
where
spayed and neutered. You can get into all that. So it's not you just walk in and say, free dog.
Yeah, here, I brought my own leash. No, it's not that way at all. And even when we do fee-waived adoptions, we still interview you in the same way. So we're not just, having them line up on the street. It's, on average, it's $75.
Okay.
Which is really not that
affordable.
expensive.
Right.
Because you're getting a pet that's been microchipped, vaccinated, spayed and neutered.
Vaccinated. And also, you don't think of that. There's so many vaccinations.
So many. And you're also getting one free vet visit at a local VCA hospital. So, it's kind of a no-brainer. $75 is not that much for love.
Absolutely. Oh, so right.
Right?
We're going to take a little break. We're going to continue the conversation. Come on back. All right, welcome back. We're talking about you taking the big plunge. You went to the shelter. You want your pet. And we talked about the counselors and things like that. Let's talk about if it's your second pet, or maybe you have a dog and you want a cat. That's a tricky one sometimes. It's not a slam dunk that it's going to work out.
Yeah, it definitely
Do any people
is.
come with the dog to the shelter to see if
before
they leave?
We definitely don't like that to happen.
No?
And the reason for that is because the dogs in the shelter are really stressed as it is. So they're not necessarily showing you the best side.
Right. So true.
As much as we can interact with the dog and we have play groups, and we have both feline and canine behavior staff that can evaluate how they are with each other, you really don't get a good feeling for how they'll get along. So what we suggest is to have the ability to separate them from your existing pet. So whether it's like they're in a different room and do a really slow introduction where they can smell each other underneath the door. It's amazing once an animal gets out of the shelter, how relaxed they are. And we find that most of them get along with all other animals.
You've had good luck this way?
Yeah, because you go to a dog park. Do you find that
dog and dog are tend to get along, or dog and cat, like, Tom and Jerry, is it dogs and cats is a little tougher? Or?
I actually don't. I think that's a misnomer. I think dogs and cats do get along. At one point, I had a dog and a cat, and they get along perfectly. But again, you've got to be careful when you're introducing them. I think a lot of people bring a pet home and they're like, oh, this is so great. And they invite all their friends over and they have a big party. And this poor dog is adjusting from being in a shelter 24/7 to being in a home. So you really want to ease that.
It takes 3 months. Isn't there like that phrase?
3-3-3.
3-3-3. It's
yeah.
True.
Yep.
What is it? 3 days
3
to
days,
relax?
3 weeks, 3 months. Yeah. 3 days to relax. 3 weeks to decompress, and 3 months to feel completely comfortable.
Really blossom.
Yeah.
It's
I'm not saying that you have to wait 3 months before you introduce them to another pet.
Right. But it is true, by the way.
But also, we also know based on their history sometimes, especially if it's an owner-surrendered animal, whether or not they've lived with pets in the past.
Good point.
So we do know that.
Let's get into what should you have at your apartment, your house. Should you, food, the dog bowl, the crate. Crates are great. There's
I think
time
that's
and
half
place
the fun
for a
of
crate.
adopting is people go to the store and they buy all the toys and they buy a bed. I mean, it is really fun.
Little doggy bed.
Yep,
exactly.
And they'll come in sometimes and say, okay, we've already brought all the stuff. We got our litter. We got the toys. So, I mean, for dogs, you really need a leash, you need a bed if
Right.
you need a crate. We actually give leashes and collars. If it's a bigger dog, we suggest people use harnesses and we show you how to use them. For cats, and we give all this. We give little bits for all, for starters. We have cat litter. We use World's Best Cat Litter. They give shelters free litter. We have Royal Canin food that we give because that's what we feed in the shelter. And so we want to, make sure that's what they're getting in their new home. So, toys, it's really fun. It's fun to prepare.
It is fun. It is fun.
Yeah.
A little expensive, but it is fun.
It can be. It can be, but also, again, less expensive than a therapist.
So true.
Right?
Let's talk about that first. That dog gets home. What should that dog or the cat first time in the house? You can't like bum rush them, right? You got to let them sniff it out and relax.
Yeah, you shouldn't have like a million people there. You let them walk around and you let them at their own pace. That's the thing. It's like you don't want to be like, oh, look at this chair. Look, I made your bed. Let them in. Just be, go about your regular day. Have a lot of treats. Treats are a great way to train them and make them feel comfortable.
Treats versus praise. I've never been a treat guy. I like praise,
I mean, anything that's positive.
That's a good episode one time.
Anything that's positive. We do not believe in aversive training. So it's positive reinforcement-based training.
Yep.
And really just let them go at their own pace.
You sometimes see matches that don't work out. What is like if you have a one warning or one sign that, what like a mistake that people make too often? What would it be?
They bring the dog to the dog park too soon and go off leash.
Yes.
There's definitely off leash time, which is actually so much fun to watch. But if you have a new dog, you need to slowly introduce them. Don't go right to the dog park and take the leash off because you don't know how they're going to interact with the other dogs right away. That is the biggest deal, to be honest.
Very true.
So we always tell people to just ease their way into it and always keep your dog leashed.
Very good. Katy Hansen, another good episode of Pet Nation.
Good.
We're on a roll.
I know.
High five. All right, we're going to wrap it up there. And I should have teased what we're going to do next episode, but I didn't think that far ahead. So it'll be a good one.
It'll be a surprise.
Come on back. It'll be a surprise.